It's 3:10 in the morning. You haven't slept yet. You know what time it is because you looked at the phone 2 minutes ago. You'll look again in 5. The fan spins. The other side of the bed moves. She turns in her sleep. You hold still so you don't wake her. Your head is in 8 places at once. You're replaying a meeting from 3 days ago. Something your boss said that the more you think about it, maybe wasn't a compliment. You're calculating alarm at 7, 4 hours of sleep, which means you need to fall asleep now, which means you don't. You were going to sleep at midnight, then at 1. At 2, you gave up and checked the phone. It's almost 3:30 now. Welcome. This video is for you. It doesn't only happen at night. It happens mid-conversation. Half your head tracks the other person's tone. The other half is running through the grocery list, a Wednesday deadline, something your father said to you in 2019. You still answer, but the person in front of you picks up that you're not fully there. My girlfriend has told me plenty of times. I love her. When I'm with her, part of me is still drafting a message for work or chewing on something I said at dinner 6 weeks ago. The dishes are in the sink. I hear her. I'm also not there. She was telling me something about her sister from a phone call earlier that afternoon. I nodded at the right places. I couldn't repeat what her sister said if someone paid me. For years, I thought something was wrong with me. That other people had some quiet in their heads I'd never had. Turns out there's a name for the wiring. The default mode network. The part of the brain that fires up when you're not doing anything specific. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You were handed it. Here's the line that, if you have my kind of brain, hurts more than it should. Relax. You think too much. People say it with good intentions. They don't know they're saying breathe less to someone with asthma. It always comes from someone who isn't an overthinker. A brain like ours doesn't switch off. You have to give it something to do. This channel, the one you're watching right now, I thought about it for 4 months before I opened it. No research, no preparation, 4 months of thinking about it. AI stories, then fitness, back to AI, the language question, the frequency question, one channel or 3. Every decision had pros and cons. Every pro and con generated sub-questions. And me on the couch, phone in hand, running through all of them. At some point, I made a spreadsheet, 3 tabs. I never looked at it again. One night on the balcony, I was telling my girlfriend all of this for the 100th time. At some point, I looked up and her eyes were wet. I don't remember what I just said. Something about Spanish audience size, maybe. It didn't matter. She hadn't said anything. She was just watching a guy stuck for months talking about a thing he wasn't doing. That one landed. 2 conversations came after. One on the seafront with a friend who's been procrastinating his own project for years. He was explaining his philosophy to me. Strip features, don't add them. In the meantime, he adds, doesn't launch. The other one at another friend's place. Short guy, shaved head, laptop on a cheap desk. Runs an e-commerce business that clears high 5 figures a month. He said it in one line. When I start something, I throw myself in and fix it as I go. One of them thought before doing, the other did while thinking. The brain that thinks too much, mine, yours, is powerful. Too powerful for what we're asking of it. Built to solve complex problems, to see what others miss. And we're using it to chew on a conversation from 2019 to decide whether to send a message. Like using a drill to slice bread. Something I've noticed, we're amazing at giving advice to other people. A friend calls at 11 p.m. because he can't decide whether to leave his job. In 10 minutes, you have the picture. You give him 3 angles. He hangs up relieved, calls you a lifesaver. You put the phone down. The house is quiet. Then you go back to bed and can't sleep because you can't decide whether to sign up for a course you've had in drafts for 7 months. Same with messages that matter. You open the message, you write, you reread, you notice sorry might make it sound like you did something wrong. You delete it, you reread. Without sorry, it sounds cold. 25 minutes later, you send a version almost identical to the first one. There's a name for this. Rumination. The brain keeps working, stuck in a loop. Same energy as a full day's work. Nothing built. And by evening, you already have tools ready to cover the noise. They're making it worse. You scroll because the emptiness seems to cover the noise. It works for 20 minutes. Then you get up, eyes burning, an hour and a half you're not getting back. Chat GPT. I've fallen into this and I still do. You open a chat, ask a question, then another. 40 minutes in, you realize you weren't looking for an answer. You were looking for a specific answer. The one that gave you permission to keep postponing. And the AI, polite as it is, hands it to you. The coffee on the desk went cold an hour ago. You didn't drink it. You already had 2. You close the tab. You open it again 5 minutes later. So what do? There's one thing that actually helps. And it surprised me. Walking, the long kind, an hour at least. A Stanford study in 2015 sent people out for 90 minutes in nature and scanned their brains before and after. The part of the brain associated with rumination, the same loop you feel at 3 a.m., quieted down. People who walked the same length of time through a city got nothing. Some periods I hit 15 or 20,000 steps a day, partly for fitness, partly to feel better. By the 4th or 5th kilometer, the worrying gets quieter. The thinking has somewhere to go. The phone and chat GPT leave me more tired than when I started. Walking doesn't. A brain like ours doesn't switch off. It gets occupied. A thought that spins in place becomes anxiety. Give it a direction and it starts to produce something. Open the document you're avoiding. Record the first bad version of the thing you're putting off. Do it. Badly. Fast. It's always 1,000 times better to mess up than to stay still out of fear of messing up. The channel I'm making right now. If I'd started 3 months earlier, I'd probably have 2 failed channels by now and one that worked. Instead, I've got 4 months I can't use. Some of those months I remember. Some of them I don't. They ran together. Tonight, when you're awake at 3:20 with your brain spinning, don't try to shut it off. It doesn't shut off. Get up. The floor is cold. The kitchen light hurts. You'll be slower than you'd like. Pick one thing, small, stupid, whatever, that you've been putting off too long. Don't solve it, just start it. 10 minutes. Then go back to bed and see if the noise is still there or if something somewhere underneath has moved. Let's talk about it. Comment under this video and tell me your experience with overthinking. I'd love to hear from you. And if what I say resonates with you, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss my next video. See you soon.